this opportunity to thank you all so much for coming out. We really appreciate you all coming out, taking your evening to come out and help us take a proactive approach toward criminal activity and policing in our city. So we really don't take your presence here lightly. So thank you all so much for coming.
The mic. Turn it up. Turn it up. Make sure make sure that volume not there.
This better?
Yeah, very bad.
You in the half.
Okay, that's right. Okay, we're going to go on and get started this evening. I want to make sure first and foremost that everyone have a handout. If you do not have this handout, please raise your hand and I'll have someone come and bring your handout. So please raise your hand. Ma'am, can you take handouts, please? Okay. The first part of this handout is going to be the 6 pillars of 21st century policing. And the second part of that is going to be our 2018 and 2019 strategic policy. So we want you to have these handouts because the reason that we're here, we would like for your input as it relates to the 6 pillars, as it relates to 21st century policing. Okay, so this is going to be a working session. And so we're going to ask you to kind of critically think these pillars, give your input as it relates to these pillars. In addition to having these pillars, this handout, we have tables strategically placed throughout the room that consist of these handouts with large sticky notes and small sticky notes and ink pens. And so what we're asking you to do is, when we break out, we're going to take about a 20-25-minute breakout session, and then we're going to ask you to just give your input, what you would like to see as it relates to our strategic plan and your thoughts in reference to the pillars of the 21st century policing. So on this table here, we have 6 pillars, and so these 2 tables, we're going to trust, building trust and legitimacy, police and oversight, and what do we have over there?
Technology, social media, community, policing, crime reduction.
We have
And Officer Wynn?
education over here, and we have officer wellness and safety.
Okay, so in a minute, we're going to hear from Chief Hall as well as Council Member Atkins. But just to give you a little bit about why we're here tonight, the city of Dallas, we have 14 council districts, and so what we'll be doing is having these listening sessions in every council district. So tonight we are in district number 8, which is Council Member Atkins' district. Thank you so much, sir, for hosting this event tonight. So we really just want to get your input, and we're going to let you hear from Council Member Atkins as well as Chief Hall. Before we do that, I want you to know, again, this is going to be a working session, so we are going to split up here in a few minutes. We have refreshments and water on the side of the room here. Please take a minute to visit our vendors as well. We certainly don't want to forget them. We thank them for coming out as well. Okay, so at this time, we'll hear from Councilmember Atkins.
Thank you very much. First, let's give honor to God and blessing to be here, but also let's give a round of applause to all the DPD men in blue who served you. It's been grand to be here. Starting out, we are in District 8, I'm Councilmember Atkins, and we always talk about economic development, economic opportunity, and right now on the process writing the economic development policy for the entire city of Dallas. And that is trying to create jobs and more business, raising property tax, stuff like that. But we are here today to listen. This is not a B session. This is a listen session. We want to listen from you, listen from you. We want to hear from you. We're here to listen. And all the way we get things done, we got to listen first. And we're going to listen to the community. This is your community. And since it's your community, we want to know what you think about your community. Chief Hall's here to make sure that to hear you what we're going to do, and make sure the council here to make sure we give her the tools, all the opportunity to do what is best to save the city, to make sure we're in a safe city. I believe we are a safe city, sometimes different, but every community is different. Every street is different. Every human being is different. There are no 2 human beings in the world is alike. Is that a true statement? So I mean, we all different, we all got all ideas. But we are in the city of Dallas, the ninth largest city in America. But we want to be a safe city. And all we can be a safe city, we got to listen to you. We got to work together as one community. Now that's two different communities, but one community. And we want you to know that we're here to help you to make sure your neighborhood is safe. We did gave police more money last year's budget. We understand that. We did settle a major $100 million lawsuit. We did that. We are here, the councilmen, to make sure they have the resources, to make sure you have the resources, to make sure we have a safe city. But if we don't hear from you and do not give us any kind of caution, how can we make it work? Because we got to listen, right? And you make sure that these different stickers here right now, so we got some homework that we can go back to. And if you sign in, if you write on this paper, the note, we're going to make sure you get the information back. If there's some question, you want to address, write the telephone number down. 214.
Hold on.
Hold on. Listen. But write this number down. 214-670-4066. 214-670-4066. Email address, Tennell, TENNELL ATKINS at Dallas City Hall. If there are any question that you want to email me or call Maria Salazar, raise your hand. Angela, raise your hand. Those are my two staff. Any question you want to ask, be sure you text me or email Maria and we'll get it to Chief Hall. And so we'll get back to you. Every question that you ask, we're going to answer every question if you send it to my office or you leave it here, okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Chief Hall.
Good evening, everybody. Y'all excited to be here?
Yes.
I am so excited. Every time I have a listening session, I have had standing room only. And that's important because you are important. One of the reasons that we are here tonight is that for the past, 139 years of our existence, the Dallas Police Department has always created plans. We've created 5-year strategic plans over and over again. And when I first arrived, we were ending a 5-year plan that Chief Brown put in place. And so in 2018 and 2019, I put 5 strategic priorities in place. But one of the things that we have failed to do over and over again is in those plans include you. We create crime plans, we create policy and oversight in our police department. We talk about the use of technology. We talk about all of these things, but we never include you in what you want to see in our organization in order for us to move forward. And so we're no longer speaking for you, we're speaking alongside of you. We want your input for these next 5 years. We want to make sure that you have a say in the roadmap that is going to take us to through the next 5 years. So this is so very important. As Sergeant West has laid out, we have developed all of our priorities off of the 21st century policing. 21st century policing came out of the President's plan, and it focused on the best ways in order for a police department to be successful. And we cannot be successful unless we work right alongside of our community. Our community has to be focused and lined up right alongside of us in order for us to actually be successful. So that's why you're here. We want your input. We have passed out the flyers that talk about what each one of the 6 pillars, but on that second page, we talk about the priorities. You know, oftentimes in the media, we never talk about the successes of what the Dallas Police Department has done. That second page tells you everything that we've accomplished under our 5 priorities over the past 2 years. Now, we know we have some challenges. Crime is one of them.
Yes.
And we are focused on that. We are moving in the direction. We are focused in 2020 as we were in 2019. I know we don't tell all the stories, but we want you to know that crime is a challenge, but not because the men and women that you see in this room are not working. I'll say it over and over and over again. In 2019, the Dallas Police Department made over 7,500 arrests. We took more than 2,800 guns off the street. We confiscated more than 8,000 pounds, 800,000 pounds of narcotics in all forms. And more than, I don't know, $4 million in currency that we've taken out of these communities throughout the city of Dallas. So that's indicative of us working very hard and focusing on crime, but we still have some challenges and we're working diligently, but we need your help to make sure that we're successful in making these numbers go down. But that doesn't happen just by police. It's us working together. So what we're going to do is we're going to allow you to work, go around, put your thoughts on these pieces of paper. We'll come back after about 25, 30 minutes, and then we're going to talk about these 6 pillars, and then we'll answer any questions that you have. One of the things that I want to echo about with the councilman, I thank you for hosting this listening session, is we can complain all day long.
Yes.
We can criticize all day long, but criticism and complaints don't solve problems. We have challenges in our community and we need to figure out together how we work through them. One of the things I'll say about crime over and over again, you can say whatever you want, but we all grew up in neighborhoods where we know where the crime is, we know who is committing the crime. The question is, are you going to share that information with the police department so we can do a better job? Where people are selling drugs, where they're shooting up in the air at night, you see them walk into those houses, you see all the activity around, and if you remain silent, we have to work that much harder to figure it out. So are we going to work together? Or are we going to continue to try and point fingers and assume that the Dallas Police Department has telekinesis and we can figure out what people are thinking and what people are doing? So this is about us working together. We're here not to talk about anything other than solutions. If you have questions, we will answer them. But we want to make this a working session in how we work together better to be able to solve neighborhood problems. These problems didn't start in 2017, September, when I got here. So let's not act like they just started, okay? So what we want to do is figure out how we can move forward and quell some of these issues and build a stronger Dallas throughout the entire city of Dallas, okay?
All right.
So everybody excited?
I'm excited.
That don't sound like excitement to me.
I'm ready.
Okay, so we're gonna get started. I'm gonna let Sergeant West get us all going. But before that, I do want to recognize, I did talk about the men and women in the room, but the Dallas Police Department Community Affairs Office is phenomenal. Sergeant West here tonight, she is the sergeant in the unit, she's representing Jolie Angel Robinson tonight. But I just want to say from my deepest part of my heart, thank you guys so very much. They are awesome. We have constables here tonight. We have marshals here. We have all of our police officers, neighborhood police officers. We have Major Younger, Major Alanis are in the house. and so these are the people who do the hard work, and just wanted to acknowledge them and thank everybody for being here.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, so at this time, we're going to break up and just go to either one of the tables here, and on the stickies, just write down what you would like to see, and then we'll come back after about 20 minutes. I'm going to keep us on track here, and so in about 20 minutes, we'll address some of those like Chief communicated, and then we'll have some question and answers. So you guys ready to get started? Let's make it happen.
listening to you, hearing you, and not only just listening, but responding. One of the things I have is an advisory board that is citywide, and each one of the district commanders also has a community advisory board where we ask for you to sit and serve. My advisory board meets for once a month for 6 months. I think I'm on my fourth or fifth advisory board. That advisory board has changed policy or general orders in the Dallas Police Department. It created a complaint process. When I first arrived, we did not have forms in substations to make complaints. It created a partnership for a police oversight board that we currently have. So continuously building trust is hearing you, giving you an avenue or a space to hear you and to also listen and respond to the things that you want to see in the police department. And so that's how we continuously build trust. Another one of the things that we've done as it relates to our youth, we've partnered with Big Brothers Big Sisters. We have multiple officers who are mentors. This past summer, the Dallas Police Department, Mark Cuban's foundation, as well as AT&T, Target, Sleeper Dallas, Workforce Solutions, we partnered. We took 15-year-olds out of all of our higher crime locations, 75215, 75216, just to name a few. We employed them during the summer, $10 an hour, making sure that they had an opportunity to not only make some money, but get exposed to various careers. Not all of our youth want to attend college, whether it is financial or just not their desire, but they did not know that there were other opportunities or that there was other avenues for entrepreneurship and or just vocational opportunities. So they got a chance to meet with individuals that can help them. One was Cafe Momentum. They had an opportunity to go there and sit and talk and meet individuals who, have the ability to work in an environment where they can start their own business, where they can be chefs and, other career opportunities that were not made available to them, whether they were not given to them in school. But we are working to be side by side with our community. We know it's tough. We know that there's been some bridges that have been burned, but we're trying to every day build those bridges by being present, by making sure that we're following up on the issues or the challenges that you have in your communities, focusing on crime, and just any of those quality of life issues. We have neighborhood police officers who work alongside of you on a regular basis. I see my DA who just walked in the house. Oh, can we give him a round of applause? So we're doing a lot to make sure that we are working side by side. This is not, somebody just said over here when I was standing around talking to some of you, that this is not a war. We need to remember we have to work together. We are not at odds at all. In order for us to be successful, we have to work together, and I think that's the important part. If we could stop tearing each other down, we could build this city completely back up. So I think that's the most important.
Thank you, Chief. A question concerning training and education. Racial bias training needs to be a priority in the hiring process. What de-escalating techniques and what are those techniques a priority as it relates to police officers?
So the Dallas Police Department has multiple trainings around implicit bias and cultural diversity. One of the things that is very important for us is for us to understand one another. The Bible tells us that in all things to get an understanding, and until we can understand who one another is, that's the only way we're going to be able to really deal with each other. So implicit bias is one of those that helps us deal with ourselves. Implicit bias talks about how every one of us, every one of you, and every one of us wearing a uniform has a bias. And so the training is an 8-hour training, and it goes through all areas of biases. It helps us identify what ours are, and helps us mitigate through them in order for us to be successful in our community. Also, we have cultural diversity. We have, I think it's a 8-hour block, 4-hour block of African American, the African American culture. We have LGBTQ culture, as well as the Latino Hispanic culture is about 4 hours, the Asian culture. So we go through and make sure that everyone understands this city is made up of so many different races, ethnicities, and cultures, and we have to make sure that we understand one another, that we understand the differences as well as those similarities, so we can be a better service to our community. So we are working on that. One of the advantages of either joining the Citizen Police Academy and or serving on advisory boards is my advisory board actually gets an opportunity to come and visit the academy and sit through some of the cultural diversity training. They have also made recommendations to what we need to add to our cultural diversity training. They also get to see the communications, our fusion center, our 911. So those are some of the ways that you can get involved, and you can be better informed of what we're teaching, of what the officers are getting, and if you have any suggestions, that's why you're here. Tell us what you want to see us do. We are open to those suggestions. We know that we don't have all of the answers, so if there's something that we need to improve upon, we're open to that, and that's how you can help us.
Officer wellness, the question is, what support and self-care, mental health do you provide for police officers?
So, because what she's doing is just taking some of the information off of some of these areas just to kind of highlight. Recognizing that a lot of these, this is what our 6th or 7th listening session, and some of them are some of the same things that we've heard, but we pull some of those things that are a little bit different so we can acknowledge. But as it relates to our officers, we understand that the best officer is a whole officer, mind, body, and spirit. And so we have multiple programs. We have peer support, which allows officers to work together whenever there is an issue or a crisis. We have 3 counselors that are on staff that are available to the officers 24/7 if they need anything. If an officer is involved in a critical incident, whether that's an officer-involved shooting, they see a suicide, or it's a scene where there's a senior, a seasoned person, or a child, we offer those individuals 3 critical incident days off the bat without hesitation. We don't mandate it for every incident, only for an officer-involved shooting is mandated. But other than that, we let them know that they have the opportunity to take those days, that they can see one of our counselors and they can talk through those situations. There are a lot of officers who take advantage of it. Our associations have, through the Assist the Officer, they have additional counselors and counseling services, and all of it remains anonymous. So there has been for years a stigma on law enforcement officers as it relates to needing to talk to someone. For years it has been, don't tell anybody because they're going to take your gun. This is not that administration. This is not where we are in 2020. What we recognize is officers die more frequently from suicide than from anything else in our career. So we make sure that our officers are okay. We provide the necessary resources for them so that they can let off whatever feelings that they may have. We have to remember our officers see more trauma and more violence than anybody, even those individuals who are in the military. When you're at war, you only stay at war for a couple months at a time. But officers work in law enforcement 20, 30, and sometimes 40 years. So we have resources available. If there's anything that we're missing, if anyone has any counseling services that you want to offer to the police department, we're open to those, and any suggestions that you have.
Okay, our next question relates to technology and social media. How can social media be used to help fight crime in neighborhoods?
So glad you asked that question. Who has the iWatch app, packet out there? Anybody? Anybody has downloaded iWatch on their phone? You took long. Okay, Councilmember Atkins, I'm gonna get on you. We have an iWatch app. That is an app that you can download. The brochures are in the back, and we have them in English and in Spanish. So it does not take the place of 911. This is not what you go to if there is an immediate issue. You do call 911. However, if there is crime in your area, narcotics locations, suspicious individuals in your neighborhood, you are able to then, from that app, send that information to the police department. It goes straight to our fusion center. There's someone monitoring 24/7. They triage that information and get the resources to you that you need in order to be able to deal with that. Why is that important? Because that app allows you to you have the option to either remain anonymous, or you can let the app know your location, so if you could possibly be in any trouble, we'll know exactly where you are. But it's your choice. And what's important about that is if we know that the crime is taking place, it's like I said before, we can only deal with that we know. So if you give us that information, we're able to take care of those various locations, those individuals, and it does not come back to you. You're able to remain anonymous. What's good about the app is that you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of time typing information. You can take a photo and send the photo with 2 or 3 lines, and we're able then to look and see exactly what's going on and get the location of that information. So that's really important of how technology is going to be able to help us fight crime. We are moving to camera systems. I have to say, Dallas is a little slow in technology. We're the ninth largest city, but when I arrived, I realized that we were a little slow in technology, but we're moving to all things cameras. Right now we have a Starlight program, as well as we just finished a camera contract that's going to allow us to have cameras in various locations throughout the city. So we're moving to a more technological opportunity to be able to fight crime, because when we see the successes of multiple cities around this country, it's because they have the technology that helps us look and virtually patrol areas where officers can't be at all times. So that's how you can help us.
Okay, this is in reference to community policing and crime reduction. What is being done to better train or retrain our community policing officers, and can we have more engagement as it relates to community, the officers getting out of vehicles and walking in the community?
So this is a question I'm going to let Paul Younger talk about. He is your major in your area, and the reason I'm giving it to him is because the officers get their direction from him. So we're going to let him talk about the neighborhood police officers training and what they're tasked with every day to do.
Thank you. And as Chief said, I am the commander of the South Central Substation. We do have a neighborhood police officer unit, and their job is to do exactly what we discussed earlier today. They're to go into the community. They are your personal police officer. Their job is to basically form a relationship with you guys for quality of life issues. So what I encourage those guys to do is get to know you. They have cell numbers. If you have loud music, cars parked illegally, call them. What I encourage them to do is get out of their cars, throw a baseball with a kid, play basketball. We'll pay them. If they see citizens on the side of the road that have say a flat tire, stop, say hello. That's how we're going to get to know you. This is the whole point of the neighborhood policing unit, is for us to ask you how you want to be policed by us. I'm a firm believer, you guys pay our salary. We serve you. We can't do that if you don't trust us and see us as legitimate. So if you have any questions about that, if you're not getting the service you need from the NPOs, let us know. Lieutenant Jones is over the unit. Lieutenant Jones. And But the whole point of the neighborhood policing unit is to build a relationship with the community that we serve. So they are your personal police officers. If you don't have a cell number or a way to get in contact with them, see me or Lieutenant Jones on the way out. We'll make sure you have that.
What you'll get toward the end of the month, Community Affairs is actually putting together for all the districts around the city is flyers. And they will have your neighborhood police officers and your command staff, your lieutenant, your watch commander at every shift, as well as the major and the deputy chief, and numbers that you can reach each of those individuals, whether day or night. So you should have those. We'll have them citywide toward the end of the month, and therefore you're able to then get a better knowledge and understanding of who the individuals who patrol your area from a neighborhood police officer perspective is.
Piggyback on that, young girl came to our office last week, and if you're gonna call our office, we got South Central, Southwest, and Southeast. We got a grid, we have a map. It'll tell you every neighborhood police officer there, when they go to work, what time they do not go to work. So it depends on your Southwest, and South Central, Southeast, and District 8. You can call my office, we have that information already. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna do one more of these, and we're gonna take some questions, okay? This is going to be in reference to policy and oversight. What is the Dallas Police Department doing to make the general orders and policies easy accessible to the community so that we can know what the policies are to help better make change?
Okay, currently we are trying to get those uploaded to the intranet. That has been a challenge for us from a technological standpoint. So that's one of the things that we're working on, is trying to get them uploaded. We are in the process of, as I said before, we've changed multiple orders. And so letting you know what that change looks like is something that we're working on, but that is a technology issue that we're trying to work out, and hopefully we should have that worked out. I would hope with this next contract that gives us bandwidth to be able to expand. So I don't know what day that is, but that has been a challenge for us. I just want to, the district attorney is in the house, and we just want to give him an opportunity. There has been so much support when I come out to these listening sessions. There's been so many people who show up to actually get involved, to say what they want to do. I see a lot of organizations standing around the wall. That's a blessing to the Dallas Police Department and to me, to know that there's so many people who want to work alongside of us. And the district attorney and I, we work side by side. We're really good friends. We don't always agree. We do not agree on a lot of things. I like to lock people up. He likes to give them a break sometimes. And so, but that does not, that is one of those things that we have to understand, that it is okay to disagree. We can be amenable in our ways, but we still work together to try to come to a happy medium, because he wants crime out of the city as well. We just have a different way of going about it. But I love this man. He's very supportive of me. I'm very supportive of him. So you have anything to say?
Well, thank you for coming, first of all, and thank you for having me as your district attorney. This is very exciting for me to come to this library and see this many people show up, because the police chief is here and because Mr. Atkins, your councilman, is here. So I really want to thank you. I want to let you know, obviously, the election for me was a little over a year ago, and you elected me with a platform and a mandate. And as you know, we put that into place. And soon we will have the numbers and the measures of that, so you will know whether I accomplished the goals that we said we were going to accomplish, that you put me there. As far as I'm concerned, we're all doing it together. I think the police chief is right. Our goal, we may have some slight differences, and it may be more semantics than anything else, okay? I think I'm going to change the police chief's words for her. She says about go to jail, okay? I think what she really means, and if she doesn't mind me saying this, is she wants people held accountable.
That's right.
Okay, and that's not fair. Okay. Because I too want people held accountable, okay? But I also know who gets put in jail and who doesn't. And I know where the enforcement goes down and where it doesn't. And I know who winds up with a criminal record and who doesn't. And I know what impact that has on that person. And I know what impact it has on the family. And when you stretch it out to the family, to mom and dad, to grandmother and grandfather, and cousin and everybody else, and you start talking about loans and education, and then you are degrading the entire community when you implement those types of processes. So we all want people to be held accountable. We want people to not commit crimes. We are focused on that. Anything that I can do, and she knows this, and she's already said it, and this will continue this way, anything that I can do from my office to give assistance to her, to give her knowledge about things that I see that she may not because of the position she's in, the position I am. I share that with her, and we do so on a friendly basis and lifelines. Anything that we're doing that we need to improve upon, I welcome and I expect her to tell me, because the way the criminal justice system works is the police officers do what they do on the street, and they take a person to jail, and their job ends there. And then we pick up the job from there, if you think about it, okay? We do everything we do there. One of the things that I want you to know that I'm real big on rehabilitation, on drugs, mental health, jail and prison are not the place for low-level offenders who have addiction and mental health issues. We're not improving their lives or the quality of the community. We are continuing to work. The same thing I've done for over 20 years, 22 years now. We're continuing to do that. We're just doing it from a systemic level. So we continue to do that. But why do I want to do that? Because I want her police officers to be able to answer that call for service for you, rather than running around chasing somebody with a drug problem, and we had the opportunity to solve it, and we dropped the ball. I'm tired of us down at the courthouse dropping the ball. Okay, we can drop the ball. Okay, and we have dropped the ball. But with me as district attorney, we're going to try to pick the ball up, we're going to turn around and figure out which way the goal line is, and we're going to run to it, and we're going to try to run over it, okay, and score a touchdown or whatever. Score a soccer goal, whatever we do, so that we can have a better community and a safer community. And if I can do that, once they bring the cases to me, if I can do my job, and we can get the judges and the probation department, it's a collective effort. If we can do our job, I can help her do her job. And if I can help her do her job, then guess what? We have a safer, better community. So we're all working together. The police department is about 51% of the cases, the Dallas Police Department is about 51% of the cases that we handle. So my job, obviously, is much larger, having all of the county. When you talk about Carrollton, you bumping up to a couple counties up there, and you come down to Wilmer, you bumping down to another county. So it's all over for me, and we have all of it. But we're working hard. I want you to know that. We're working hand in hand. We communicate. We work with our city council members, and we want the same thing. We may phrase it differently. I think philosophically we're in the same direction. But I want you to know that I trust this police chief. I hope you trust this police chief. Trust her command staff. Trust these officers. Let's work together to have a safe community. I'll do my job, as I said, and I'll give you those numbers soon. We're collecting them and getting them together, and hopefully you'll be pleased with what you see, and also it'll be helpful for the police, any department, not just the Dallas Police Department, to see what we've done and what we've accomplished, and maybe we can see some systemic changes of opinion about it. And so we just keep working on it every day, a little bit by little bit. But I thank you for being here, I really do. This is very pleasing to me to walk in and see this many citizens here to listen and to provide insight and information to our police chief so she and her command staff and the officers can do their job better. So thank you very much.
Okay, it starts Blanchard in the room? Okay, Sergeant Blanchard, he is the brainchild of all of this. He's going to take all of this data and he will put it in a user-friendly format so that we can move forward. So I just want you to know that although we did not read all of them, that your voice is truly being heard, okay? So.
If you're gonna do that, make sure you sign in with your email address, because I want all this answered. I want to get the question answered back to the community. Is that a problem with that? I know, but some of it's questions, some of it is statements, whatever, but I still want to respond to every piece of literature on the board back to the community, because that's what we do it. Because we want to make sure it's a question asked with your time tonight to write it, we should deserve to get a response back, a statement, whatever, but I want it done that. And that's why I want to get it done in my mind.
We don't mind that, but they're giving us suggestions for the plan.
But respond to their suggestions. If I do a bad suggestion, it's not going to work. So respond. Very important. I'm not going to waste your time. That's why I do my job.
Okay.
Okay, at this time, questions and answers, so if you have, okay. Who's first, and then I'll let you know.
Can't hear it.
That microphone's done, bro.
My question is to the chief minister of the district attorney first. Thank y'all for hearing this, but we never had this in our city. We can talk to people that control the law. Thank y'all for that. So my question is, there's a high profile case, and I'm a guy because both of y'all are very familiar with it. And the problem I got with it is the action of Mike Monitor, the police president association of the union, and his actions during that whole time period of the incident where he had cameras turned off and he did certain things which obstructed justice. And last meeting we had, he said that it was under investigation. I'd like to know what that investigation is, and will the district attorney prosecute if he's found guilty?
So that question is, it is under investigation. It did take time because we had to ask from the district attorney's office for all of the transcripts that were associated with that case. And so right now, it is still under investigation, and once we're done with our investigation, we'll turn it over. We'll turn it over to wherever it goes, whether it's internal or to the district attorney, and I'll let him answer the question about how he goes from there, where he goes from there.
So if a case is turned over to us, we do our own investigation. We obviously listen and pay attention to what the police have given to us, and that's the starting point. We'll do our own investigation, and we will likely, depending on what the case shows, I mean, if there's no violation of no crime violation, it may be an administrative violation, for example, then we wouldn't have anything to prosecute. It would be left up to the police department to handle it internally. If we feel that there's a criminal law violation, then we would take that case to the grand jury, and it would be up to the grand jury to decide if a person is indicted. It'd be handled just like any other case. Okay?
Okay, I'm gonna go on this side, and then you get that side. Who's on this side?
Hi, thank you, Chief Hall, for coming to our neighborhood. And thank you, Ms. Renee Atkins. My question is, what do we need to do to bring our community back like it was? You know, I know that you tell us about the eyewash thing. But what do we need to do? Because you can't do everything. You know, you don't live in our community. We do. So we have to set up some kind of farm. What do we need to do to bring it back to where we don't have to lock our doors no more? We can go to the store and don't be afraid. You know, what do we need to do? I thank you for the more police officers that you have out here. I've been here since 1959. And I've seen roadblocks what I've never seen before. And that was on Simpson Street and Highland Hills Drive. I have never seen a roadblock there. And Mr. Atkins, what day do you have your monthly needs on? Because see, the community we need to know this so we can show up. The same way we showed up this way, it's the way we need to show up for you too. Because see, you out here every day, I see you. You know, what do we need to do? My niece is the first shooting that happened in Highmark. When they called me and said she had got shot, it was before. Me and the ambulance pulled up at the same time. And it didn't take the police very long to get there. Everything within 2 or 3 minutes. And that's a good thing. Because a long time ago, it used to take the police a long time to come. But we had enough officers out here, and one that came in other neighborhoods to do this. Put the cameras back on the red light. Because on both incidents that happened in Highland Hills, if the cameras wouldn't have been working at the red light, y'all would have got the license plates. Because both of them was a drive-by shooting. Thank you.
So what's important is, and you said, what can we do? The community, we have to go back to community. Most of us live on blocks where we don't even talk to our neighbors. You don't even know who lives next door to you. And you see activity and you say, I'm not going to get involved, I don't want to be bothered. And so as long as that is the attitude and the demeanor, then we won't have a neighborhood or a community. And so what we need you to do is to organize, to have crime watch groups where, you know, when I was growing up, I thought my grandmother was the nosiest woman in the world. She knew if somebody pulled up, she'd call it, it's a blue Corvette with license plate 123, and he's a black male, he about 6 feet. And I was thinking, like, why are you in these people's business? But I understood we did not lock our doors. We could sleep with the front door open. When we were kids, we would sleep on the front porch. But it was because of that, because everybody was looking out for everyone. And we have to get back to that. I'm going to be real genuine right now. Everybody knows where the drug house is, who the shooters are. You know. And if you don't tell us, I'll say this again, I was on Smash the other day. We start from zero because we come in and now we got to get all the information and hope you'll talk to us and hope you'll give us what we need. But the bottom line is you have what we need. And if you give it to us, we can rid the community of violence. And we need you guys to organize. Volunteers in patrol. You know, we'll do the crime walks with you. We'll walk the neighborhood. We'll patrol with you. Just organize around us, alongside of us. You have a commander, where'd he go? Who will make sure that whatever you need, you have. Okay. He's a gem. So if you would do that, we will do the rest.
Thank you.
Monday meeting is the second Saturday at 10 o'clock at the community office. But we also have a meeting that is when you want to call a meeting. We have a community office that's been there for the whole year. We are open every day, Monday through Friday. And sometimes people don't come. You can walk in at any time without a meeting, without an appointment. So therefore, it's no excuse, but some people just don't come to the office. Sometimes we got to beg you to come, like tonight. I don't know how many email blasts we sent out, what was on the TV to make sure you come tonight, but you came because we do everything in the power, and still, this room should be overflowing. People should be outside. But if you care about your community, you need to find out what's going on in your community.
I want to broaden kind of the scope of your question, because I think when we talk about community safety and we visit with our police chief and our police officers, we tend to stop as to what can happen to create community safety. Obviously, better attention to your neighborhoods and what's going on around you is an obvious answer. We all know that, okay? But I want you to know there's another aspect that people don't talk about very much, and it's what goes on down at the courthouse that has a role in keeping your community safe. And you know my background is with drugs and mental health and programs that get people off of drugs and stop the commission of crimes. When we started that in 1998, that wasn't very popular, okay? But guess what? Because of it, up until now, we've closed 8 prisons, okay? And the state is slated to defund 2 more prisons between now and 2021. And the reason, that means fewer of us going to the penitentiary for certain. But the reason we've done that is because something that we got away from, we started doing that at the courthouse and we got away from it. I'm trying to get us back to it. And that is stop pleading out people to little bits of time for felony case after felony case after felony case. It has become acceptable to give people their back time and put them back out on the streets and not address the underlying drug problem, not address the underlying mental health problem. And when that happens, it may be your relatives, right? We all got a cousin we don't like, right? We all got somebody ain't welcome at Thanksgiving dinner, and at Christmas dinner, and it's that person. Or it may be somebody down the street. And I want to tell you that as your district attorney, I'm trying to change that system. I can't do it by myself. We can make the recommendations, and we're starting to put our feet down into the sand and dig holes and stand firm that we want these people to be looked at. We don't want this back time system. We don't want them back out in your neighborhood doing the same thing they've been doing. We want to give them an opportunity for help. The problem is this has gone on for generation after generation and year after year, and they're acclimated to it. But we are going to stop that from our standpoint, and we're going to do everything we can. Like I said, they can arrest them and bring them to us, and then it's our responsibility after that. But we're going to do what's necessary to reduce rearrest, to reduce criminal activity, so that we can do what? We can give the state the opportunity to close more and more prisons. Because all this prison buildup that we did from the 90s, 50,000 up to 150,000 was mostly us. Okay, they got locked up. And if somebody doesn't change the way we do business, nothing's going to change. I'm trying to change the way we do business. Okay, I need your support. I need your help. And so I want to let you know that all of this doesn't begin and end with the police chief. I have a responsibility, my staff has a responsibility, the judges have a responsibility, the probation department has a responsibility, and we're all trying, at least I'm trying to do my part to get it done so we can create public safety.
Okay, we'll get to him. We'll get to him. Okay, this is how it's gonna go, because I saw your hand. We'll get to you, and then we'll get to this gentleman over here in the black, and then we're gonna go back to you, okay? And then we'll get you, and then we go into the back of the room, okay?
I think one thing, the older people, we have to step up. What I mean by that is there's no need for our kids to have to walk out or stop to protest that the building is run down. So we let our kids down. There's no need for you to have a forum, and then our people can't talk to the forum unless they raise thing. So we let our people know, our kids know, they got to raise thing in order to get heard. Now DA, the payday loan, the interest rate is too high. People are stealing just to pay back the payday loan. Yes, we need to pay their loan because when people need money, they need money. We need the interest rate to go down.
All right.
You were talking about the payday loan. I want to do this because the payday loan is very important. You remember Friendship West Concord, Ricky Rush, I-Bob, and Wesley, we marked down Camp Wilson to try to close most of the payday loan down. That's regulated from the state, and you need to lobby the state because they lobby and they make sure the interest rate, we did cut it down a little bit to the point, but that's a state issue, so you need to talk to your state representative down in Austin to try to curtail that.
My name is Ernest Walker. I'm a chaplain, and I have two questions. One, I want to find out what are you guys doing, because a lot of these men, we're talking about solving problems. We have a lot of people raising other people's kids, but when we are father and we're trying to get visitation rights, then it takes 3 hours when we are denied visitation right for an officer to even show up so we can do a report, so that we can make that report, and then we do this all again the next week and the week after that. We have to look at those things because that's one of the fabrics of our family, all right? Second of all, I want to know where the pastor's at from this area inside of this building, because they are responsible. I would make, if they get any kind of city, county, or state funding, you need to take it from them or tell them if they do not affect change and they're within a radius of their church, that they're going to be held accountable for that. You want to go back? The church was the foundation of our community, and that is also what's breaking down our community. They're sold out. Was about the 3 hour wait limit for a father who's trying to get a report so that he can get visitation, or another.
Let me address that. One of the things that we did last year is we participated in an efficiency study with KPMG. And some of the things that they actually recommended, we're going to put in play, and we're going to try to have some of that done by March. So let me explain some of that. KPMG has said, they basically gave us a couple different suggestions. We're going to institute in 2 phases. Phase 1 is some of the calls that we answer. We send 4 officers and a sergeant, and the DA touched on some of the mental health calls that we answer. We send 4 officers and a sergeant. What we found is 70% of those calls result in no police action. So we're going to actually create a different code, a different signal that allows 2 officers to go to that call. If they need more, they can call. That's going to put more officers in the field to answer calls, what you're talking about. Something else that the city of Dallas has now is they have online reporting. So some of the offenses that we take police officers, some of the offenses we send officers to, will have people do online. So if they have access to the internet, they can do that. That frees up an officer to be in the field. And there's one other thing that we're going to do with the station to be a little more efficient is put officers in the field with no details. But the second thing that we're going to do is KPMG says the way you guys are deploying your officers right now, you're not deploying around the demand. So we have the traditional 7 a.m. shift, 7 to 3, 3 to 11, and 11 to 7. And what they're saying is all of our officers, well, our shifts start and end at the same time. What they're saying is if we redeploy our people around need, we'll better serve our citizens. So that's something we're trying to do. That's going to take a little bit of work on our end, but South Central's the pilot for it. If we follow KPMG's recommendation, they're saying we'll meet our demand about 100% of the time, with the exception of Saturday nights, we hit it 97% of the time. That's something we're going to do to take a proactive approach.
And that then helps us free up the officers so they can take those, because oftentimes they're stuck on other calls that if those individuals are able to then do those reports online, then we can get to those calls really fast.
Okay, this gentleman here.
My daughter was involved in the first shooting that happened right here at Highmark. I'd like to know what your process is. No one has reached out to us from the Dallas Police Department, asked us any questions except for the date of the shooting. We don't know who the detective is that's working the case. We don't know if there is any progress in the case. No one has asked us if we needed any help, how they can help us, or anything.
And that's unacceptable.
I'm very disappointed in that part.
That is unacceptable, and I did not know that they had not reached out to you, but Major Younger is going to get your information and make sure that someone contacts you. Someone will contact you in the morning if it has to be.
All right, then.
Okay?
That's what I'm talking about.
Highmark, that's the second time we've discussed Highmark tonight. And that's, Highmark is a property that we're well aware of. Our city attorney, so there's two types of law, and Judge Trousseau, the DA's over criminal law. There's another avenue that we're exploring too, which is civil law. Our city attorneys are going to sue Highmark to do the right thing, so we can get good neighbors in your neighborhood. We need business owners to step up and take responsibility for their property.
Hi, I just want to first say, I'm thinking way back to, I had my house broken into. I had my 3 young children at the house. And I still have not yet ever got a police officer to tell me as to why a child can call the police. And it takes over an hour and a half to get the police to my house. Hold on just a minute. That's my question. Never got an answer from police. It's been June, I think, in June. But I'm not gonna cry, try to keep this together. Now, that's my question, but I want to. I'm not gonna cry, try to keep this together. Now, that's my question, but I want to say it for the community. I'm a community activist, liaison, and organizer at different times. So I stopped worrying about the whole community of City of Dallas, and I got into my area more so. What community can do. I'm 46, so some of y'all my age and some older. Don't use an excuse because you old, you can't give your community. I walk the streets. I know people 15 streets away from my street. Up and down the street, some everywhere. I know a lot of these people around these walls here. So as far as community involvement, y'all don't be saying it, act like, oh, because you're old that you can't get out there and do something. I do it, I'm hurt, I got a sciatic nerve problem. Most of the time use a cane. So if I can do it, y'all can do it. Community involvement, it takes us, the police officers. I told you police chief that I will make sure that you better stay in office, and I meant that. At the same time, y'all, it's gonna take all of us as community. Y'all quit always looking at the police officer. What are we gonna do as community? We got our own area. You know, and I'm sorry, I just want to say that because I'm still hurt over the fact that my house got broken into, and I put it on. I'm a part of the press. I put it on all the TV stations, so a lot of them know me from seeing us on TV. But that's the question I never got from the city of Dallas, from you before you got it.
Okay.
So, first off, I want to explain that you guys call, when people call 911, we prioritize our call system. So you call 911 for everything from a shooting to a parking complaint. We prioritize those. So I want to apologize for how long it took, but what I would encourage you guys to do is if you have an issue, if you're not satisfied with the services you're getting, call and talk to a supervisor. Everything that you do from the minute you dial 911 till the minute the officer gets there is law. Phone calls are recorded at 911, they're date and time stamped. If you're waiting too long, call 911 back and ask them where we're at. If you can't get a response from them, ask and talk to a supervisor. I'll give you my I'll give you my contact number at the station if you guys, I'll wait for you guys over. It's 214-671-4500. And if you guys ever have a question about the services my officers provide, give me a call. We have 214-671-4500. If you guys have any questions about my officer service,
Okay, can you keep your question to a question? So, okay, very good.
All right, I have a two-part question. It's one question that is for Councilman Atkins and Chief Hall. I hear about the public safety. I think that's the greatest concern. So, my question to you, Councilor Atkins, does the city have money to fund whatever plan that's put together? And if it doesn't have money, what value or Chief Hall do you implement whatever plan you come up with if you don't have a budget to implement?
The Dallas Police Department's budget is 95% personnel. We pay, everything pretty much in our budget goes to pay our officers to be there. And we exceed our budget if we go overtime and things like that. So the Dallas Police Department does not pay for programs. We usually get that through in-kind, sponsorships, or things like that. So the police department itself doesn't pay for programs. When we put forth crime plans, our crime plans, we're going to enforce crime whether we have a 5-year plan, a 2-year plan, an operation from month to month. That is what we do, and usually it just goes with, we utilize the manpower that we have and any overtime budget that we have to be able to execute our crime plan. So anything outside of that, we don't have any money to fund.
That's a good question. Number one, we have the general fund. About 7% of your money go to pay public safety, that's police and fire. If you look at that, then you still got the remaining money, you got to do everything else in the city. All your property taxes that you pay go to public safety. Then part of the sales taxes. We have a budget. We just gave the police a raise, the lower officers to $60,000. We also try to maintain some the senior officer. We just settled a $200 million lawsuit with the police. We understand that, but it's a budget item. Now it's up to the council to say, hey, is there a program that is out there and we feel like it's the right program? We go to the foundation, we go to find some kind of financial fee to make sure they try to fund it, but we still got to go through the process, RFP or whatever to get there. If you got a program that you say this is a program worthwhile, you need to contact the city manager, what's our procurement, Zara Grayson, to say, I got a program, look into this, and we'll examine the program.
And my name get brought up. The problem is I'm looking at this photo, our people perish by the lack of knowledge. The community can't defend the community and stand up because they have to have a police department that informs them on what is going on. Now, the majority of this problem is not a policing problem. I'm sorry if the mayor told you that. Tell him Dominic Alexander said it's not a policing problem. All right? Amen to that. But real quick, like, we got babies going into stadiums shooting with guns and things like that. Look, that baby, that 15-year-old baby understood it was 6 officers up in there. You know what I'm saying? He didn't care, right? We have a real gang problem. It's not the original Blood and Crips and the territorial stuff that we all know, Holly Hills, different things of that nature. We wish that was, because at that time we was able to go and identify what those problems and talk to those people to talk about it, right? But how many of us know about YNB, YNG, Jughead, Mo Money, Ben Frank Gang? Oh, them names is weird. That's what this is going on. This is what's going around our community, and they're going around with guns. So what I want to know is because that baby and the person who got shot and more of them that I see, they could have been picked up weeks before or months before, right? So I know that DPD has a fusion center. What is it going to do to step up to monitor social media accounts? Because these people, they ain't gang banging. They chasing for clout, you know? They ain't gang banging, you know what I'm saying? Because see, when I was young, you used to get your ass whooped for that stuff. You know what I'm saying? They not gang banging, you know? They chasing for clout. They want to show on social media. Every time something happened, I see pictures where literally this child literally could have been picked up 2 months ago. He got pictures for days. So what is Fusion Center going to do to step up to be able to monitor social media rather than going back and forth with the political, beef up officers, put 200 officers in our community, or put some state troopers in our community? That's not going to help. That's not going to help us address. And guess what? I'm just asking from the leadership of this department, please educate our people about what's going on and allow this gang unit in DPD that I know very well is aware of what's going on. Let us know what's going on, and then we will take it from there.
That's a very good statement, Dominique, and because you know the gang unit very well, you should know that they are very well invested in this community. Our Fusion Center does monitor all of the gang members that have been identified. We monitor, I shouldn't be putting this on camera, but we monitor activity, and you have the sergeant from the gang unit. I can say that they have done a fantastic job of identifying gang members, and for the most part, when a gang member commits a crime, they're under arrest very shortly thereafter because of all the intel that we have on them. And I will take responsibility. We don't educate the community as much as we should. A lot of it is, we put some certain things out on social media, but we have to be better about making sure that you know what we know. And that has been a challenge for us. And in 2020, we've stepped up our public information. We've stepped up our social media. And we also have to make sure that we have an avenue to get that information out to those individuals who don't monitor social media. I see a lot of our seasoned members of the community who may or may not monitor social media.
No, we need to do that. We have been doing that.
I'd like to challenge you on something. So my name is Paul Younger. I was born and raised in Buffalo, New York. My twin brother is an officer up in North Central. Guys, I never knew how good I had it growing up until I came down here. And about 6 months ago, Sergeant Quigg hosted a Stop the Violence community meeting down in Fair Park. And I heard a reformed gang member say something that really struck me. And he said, my father figure growing up was my mother. Never really, I walked out of there, that phrase just, it gives me goosebumps. His father figure was his mother. And that made me really realize, my father, 39-year factory worker in General Motors. My mother, she's a retired nurse, but they were in my life. So I ask you, that's what we're doing. How do we get you to get in the community? How do we get you guys to help us out and be a role model and get a kid home? You look in this community, I can't tell you how many times I go and there's that teenage kid that's shot. Who shot him? I don't know. And that breaks my heart. He kills him. We can't get people to tell us what's going on. The DA will tell you he needs everybody he can to get involved in this. We can't do this alone. He needs people to step up and go to court and testify in court. Guys, the Constitution is the greatest document I've read. It starts out with 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights. And it protects the citizens. It protects you from people like us. It gives you guys rights now, but we need you guys to help us in your community. My challenge is to you. Help us. You have as much influence on these kids as we do. Probably more. Perfect.
Okay, we're gonna have 2 questions here, 2 more here, and then we're gonna wrap up, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna make this short. This is really more of a comment. I'd like to give accolades out to the Chief, Sergeant, entire DPD, and Councilman Atkins. Crime been running rapid in Dallas and the Metroplex for years. And it's not because of the department, it's because of the ones committing crime don't have any respect for themselves or others. So like people say, it takes a village. So in order to turn around and stop some of this crime, when you see something, like you say, you just have to report it and get away from this snitching calls, stitches, and all this other stuff, you know? You just have to turn around and be alert. And I just, again, just thank DPD for their service.
Good afternoon. I think what we need to do is get involved. We need some Shell stations. I shall get involved in my neighborhood. I shall go to the council meeting, I shall see and say something. We need to get involved in everything. The Bible says, without vision, people perish. Our children don't have any role models. Where are the moms, like you said, that instill in their children that you are beautiful, that you can do anything. Inspire the children to be like Mae Jemison or somebody. Everybody needs a role model. And I think our parents, our grandparents are not grandparents anymore. We need some shells, get involved. Shell stations.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
We need a lot of shell stations. And if you get involved in your shell station, whether it's on your corner, in your neighborhood, at your church, you need to be on a shell station so somebody can see you. When I was in the classroom, children don't know what's out there that they can do. I invited the judge to my classroom. She told the children what happened in her courtroom. We went to her courtroom. The parents went to the courtroom. So they got a vision that they hadn't had. They had a shell station. They need to have something to do that they have not done before. You need to go to school. Parents drop them off and they gone. You need to go to school. Sometimes you would be embarrassed if you see how your children act in school. We don't eat dinner together. We don't see children walking down the street eating, throwing the bag out in our neighborhood. You need to get involved. The grandmother, the neighborhood, I don't care who it is, get involved. Teach your children self-esteem. Teach them how to respect. And we need to get rid of all of these videos, all the videos about them. They're shooting and cutting and doing everything. What do you expect these children to do? Every movie they got out, they flying up in the sky and they, that does not make sense. Get your shell, get involved, make yourself go to the council meeting and help clean up our neighborhood. The only way they're going to do it, they don't know what's in your house. They don't know what you're teaching. Are you teaching anything? Are you showing them anything? Is the daddy there? All right, we need to get involved. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. Your question,
How y'all doing this evening? My name is Marcus Russell. I'm with Commissary It's Very Necessary, and we do a lot of work in this community. We do the armed patrols in these apartments right here. We do a lot of great things. I just did a lecture on Tuesday to the Sierra Club, which is the largest environmental justice club in the world with 13.5 million members. I'm also a member. I'm also with these brothers right here, along with that. During my lecture, they say arrest more people, take more people to jail, snitch more, and things will change. Well, according to D Magazine, a report from the comment CEO, Ty Williams, says 7 of the Texas 30 highest inmate zip codes sit within Dallas ISD's education and operation are sadly become indirectly linked. So what I'm saying is most of your relatives, if you're from this neighborhood, are in jail. The most people that are in jail are from this zip code, every zip code on 45, I-45. So in Texas, in the whole state of Texas. So if you're gonna tell me that taking people to jail, snitching and incarcerating people is gonna change things, it's really just making things worse because we have the most people in jail out of these area codes right here. They know because this is a tagged area and DPD knows what tags is. So if we're gonna send more people to jail, it's gonna cause more problems because that leads to homelessness of kids, which is a big problem in this neighborhood. Also, another report that came out last year is that 5 of the most unhealthiest zip codes, and one of them is this zip code, and they're all off this corridor right here. And during my lecture, I found that the worst things that are going on in the state of Texas are off this I-45 corridor. The worst unhealthiest zip codes are right here. So you want to tell people with mental health issues to snitch and people with all these issues to do this and that. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. The more people you send to jail, the worse this neighborhood is going to be. And those are the facts, and you can go look it up. More people, your relatives, are incarcerated on this I-45 corridor from South Dallas to Oak Cliff to Highland Hills and anywhere in the state of Texas. And you can go look this up. This 75241 zip code is a tag right here at this Simpson Stewart in Bunnyview, where this High Mart is. That's a tagged area right there. DPD knows what's going on. We do armed shutdowns of that High Mart store. Why? Because they illegally tax the residents on products they can't tax on. You understand what I'm saying? They're robbing this community. They want to sue or whatever, this and that, but the city of Dallas has everything to do with that High Mart. They're the ones that dropped the $200,000 on it and helped build it. That High Mart right there is full of crackheads, homeless people, prostitution. I've been to Renee Atkins' office. I've talked to the mayor. I've talked to the town hall meetings, and they know what we have done for this community. We do food drives. We do clothing drives out of our own pocket. And everybody that knows what we're doing with Devontae D. Peters, they know what we're doing. So to come in here and saying that people need to snitch and more people need to go to jail, it doesn't even make any sense. When you look at the numbers, there are already more people in jail in these neighborhoods than any state and than any city in Texas. So you mean to tell me that's what's going to work? And it already is not working.
Thank you.
Can I put a response? This library right here was built without a bond package. Without a bond package, it was built without a bond package, the money. That High Mart store right there, it was a Popeye chicken, with laminate and black. Now, excuse me, let me finish talking. The other grocery store there, the Save Food, we put $3 million in there. We paid $12,000 a month for security. And they still in that man blind and the people in our own neighborhood. In their own neighborhood, but the point, we put cameras out there. But it's the community. Everybody knows who's doing what. It's up to us to police our community. I got a community office down there. We got WIC there to take care of 0 to 5 kids because 50% of the kids in the state of Texas are WIC. They are WIC babies. So we need to man up to take care of our neighborhood. We need to find solutions. We're going to talk about all the neighbors. Let's find solutions. You want to talk about the church? Whatever. Let's find solutions. And that's what I'm trying to do tonight. We are listening session. Let's find solutions to get stuff done. This was all about how do we save our neighborhood. And Highland Hills, an old neighborhood, was the best upper middle class neighborhood in the world. But they closed all the schools down. William Hutch Elementary School, William Hutch High School, Kennedy Carey, Kathy Gillens, they was all gone in 2007. And we outgrew the whole city down to 21 population, but we still don't have a resource to take care of our community.
Okay, we have one more question, time for one more question. You're next in line. We have a question.
Rescreen that question.
Is there a reason why there's an extraordinary amount of police officers right here? Thank you. Is there a reason why there seems to be an inordinate amount of traffic stops in our area? And I've seen this not only here, but I work in South Dallas, and that was traumatizing this summer. It was literally traumatizing. But we also have it here, and a lot of times when you see that they're stopping grandparents, they're stopping people taking their children to school. And of course, that's creating another problem because now the child is late. So is there a reason for that, and is there something being done?
So let me answer that question. And I want us to, let's have a real conversation. I want us to have a real conversation. Because we won't stand here and act as if the police are in this area because there's nothing going on. Every traffic stop that was made by the state police and by DPD is made to someone who is breaking the law. Now, you may feel like not having a front license plate ain't that deep, but it's breaking the law. You may feel like not having a paper tag that's expired is not that big of a deal, but it is breaking the law. And one of the things that we have to remember is that all the individuals who were stopped were not given a ticket. A lot of them were given a warning. And what we know is there is violence in this area. When we talk about where the shootings and the robberies are taking place, we have to be honest that they're taking place in this area. And so when people are transporting guns and don't They're not walking, they're transporting them in cars. And our effort to get rid of crime is to stop it before it happens, not just be responsive to it. I love us as a people, but we are shooting each other, we're killing each other, we're robbing each other, we're raping each other. And so as a black woman police chief, I have to have real conversations with the community to say, if we are the problem, we have to police each other. And so we don't want to have to have a bunch of traffic stops in this area, but everyone in this room and everyone in this city and everyone in this area deserves to be able to get in your car and drive without somebody putting a gun to your head and taking it. You need to be able to walk down the street without people robbing you and taking something that belongs to you. And so in order for us to provide you with an area to be safe for your children to play, there is no reason for kids to get shot by stray bullets. But until we police that, until we drive that element out of our community, it's here. So what are we gonna do about it? Because I got lambasted at city council because crime is up in this city. So it's up to me to reduce it, and I have to do whatever I have to do aggressively to get crime down in this city. And I get it, everybody says it's not on me, it's not, maybe it's not on me, but it's my responsibility as the chief to say, where is the crime? Go get it, go stop it. And so that's where we are, and until we have a real conversation about what we are doing to each other, we gotta have that conversation. It's not a good conversation to have. It's not pleasant. But the truth of the matter is, it's us. And so my police officers have to be where we are committing crime, because you deserve to be safe. Your mom deserves to be safe. The children deserve to be safe. We deserve to live in a community where people can live, work, play, and do business without being robbed, shot, and killed. And so that was our last question. I thank each and every one of you for coming out. What I'm asking is that we get involved. I love the fact that all of you came out here and showed up today, but I need you to show up every day. I need you to show up and tell us where crime is happening, who's committing it, and we can debate about how many people are in jail from this zip code versus the other zip code. At the end of the day, if you commit a crime in this city, we're locking you up. Period.
Hold on one second before we leave. I want to have Mr. Strong close in prayer, because we need a prayer. Pray to get out of here. Come on, get up. We need a prayer to get out of here. Like, hey, we began to pray. Let's come open it up. Let's pray to get out. Make sure we're getting safe. Okay, be quiet, okay?
Lord, thank you for this day. Lord, thank you for all the citizens that came out to this meeting. Thank you for the Dallas Police Department. Thank you for all the neighborhood activists that came out and voiced their opinions. We pray that this meeting be something that we could use and make our neighborhood better and safer. And then, Father, as we leave for our home, we ask for traveling grace and your divine mercy. Then, Father, may we always remember to give you all the glory. These blessings in your Son's name. Amen.
Did you dismiss now?